All right, my friends, now that we've talked about what volume is, how 3D things have volume, we're going to talk about how we actually figure out what the volume is. So take your notes, answer the questions that I've put in here. If you'd also like to get some cubes and build things as we go along to help yourself out, feel free. Just ask me for some cubes. Now, here we go. So this one's not in your notes. You can just think. You don't have to write anything. Think about, what do you notice about this truck, especially as it connects to what we talked about? What do you wonder? Some boxes, the truck, does it have volume? Feel free to stop and tell somebody next to you what you notice or what you wonder about this picture right here. Now, how could we figure out the volume of this box? One way is to pack it with unit cubes to figure out the volume. Because remember, volume is how much will fit inside. So if I put little cubes in here, well, how many cubes will actually fit inside? A unit cube has a volume of 1 cubic unit. We talked a little bit about units last time. Remember, it's a cube, so we call it a cubic unit. Now, if we look at that same box, we can see, okay, they packed it with 1 layer so far. 16 cubes fill the bottom. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And if you need to, this would be a great time to go get cubes if you're struggling with how to count them, because sometimes it gets you have to get used to seeing the picture of what it looks like in 3D. So if you need to build it, let me know. Anyway, 16 cubes fill up the bottom. And then we can say, okay, now they put 2 more layers in, so we have 3 layers. This layer has 16, this layer has 16, and that layer has 16. So we can figure out how many cubes fit in, which tells us the volume. So you need to write this down in your notes. First, we figure out the number of cubes in 1 layer. And then we can either add or multiply to get all the layers. So think on that last example, there were 16, 16, and 16. 3 layers of 16 each. So I could either add those numbers to get my answer, or I could do 16 times 3 to get the total, right? Either way, I'll get 48. Feel free to use a calculator on this as well. I'm not testing your adding or your multiplying. Once you have that down, go ahead and keep on going. How could we determine the volume of this box? So I'm going to have a combination of doing it with you and then asking you to try some on your own. So this one I'll do with you. So how could we determine the volume? Well, like we said, we can figure out that 1 layer. Now they don't show us the whole layer, so we have to do some imagining. I can see it's 4 this way, and then there's going to be 3 of those rows. So 4, 4, and 4 tells us there's going to be 12 on the bottom. And then this layer sticking up tells us how many layers there are going to be, the little tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each layer has 12, and there's 5 layers. So I can either take 12, 12, 12, 12, and 12, or do 12 times 5 to get 60 cubic units. Make sure to be writing yourself notes so that you can come back if you forget how to do it. So what's helpful about notes is having something to look back at, and writing it down can help you sort of get it better in your brain. All right, volume of this guy right here. We can see all the cubes. There's just 1 layer. It has 4. So the volume is 4 cubic units. Now this one's similar. They just stacked another layer. So I have a 4 and I have another 4. So the volume would be 8 cubic units. All right, I want you to try these 2, and then I will go over them. So give them a shot. All right, So you might be saying, I can't see this bottom layer. Well, the good news is on rectangular prisms, all the layers are the same. So even if you can't see the bottom one, just look at the top one. So I can say, okay, this top layer has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that layer. There's 2 layers, so 6 and 6. So either 6 times 2 or 6 plus 6 is 12 cubic units. This layer again is 6, but this time I have 4 layers, so 6 times 4 is 24 cubic units. Hopefully you got those. If you need help, let me know. A few more. All right, so this one's a little harder to see, but go ahead and give those 2 a try. All right. So this layer is a little harder to see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can multiply to get that top layer. I don't necessarily have to count each one. So 4 by 6 is 24 in that top layer, which means there's 24 in the bottom layer. So 48 total. And then this one down here, I can see there's 10 in the top layer. 3 layers gives me 30. Again, if you're getting confused, that's okay. Ask somebody, then ask me if you still need help. All right, one last one. The volume of this box is 36 cubic units. How many layers of unit cubes are in the box? So we know the total volume. We know this bottom layer is 6. So we need to figure out, okay, how many layers do I need? Start with what I know, and then say, okay, how can I use what I know to figure it out? Well, if I had another layer, that'd be 12. Okay, so I can think about counting by 6s until I get to 36. Or 6 times something is going to equal that 36. You might know, you might need to stop and count. What is it? 6. 6 layers, because 6 times 6 is 36. If I count by 6s, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. So, again, ask for help if you need it. Ask people around you working on the same thing, or ask me. You can do it. Good luck.